Hey everybody, JJ here, back again with another Wednesday of Zoom networking. Our guest speaker today is a dear friend of mine. We've known one another for years. We met through my prior education program, where I started in the early days. But she's just a wonderful person. She's started as a student, became an investor, entrepreneur, now a very successful investor, very successful businesswoman. My good friend, Brandi Hulme. Brandi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? You're embarrassing me, but I'm good.
You're awesome. You're awesome. Love that smile. Meeting in San Diego like we did about 4 years ago,
Ah,
maybe almost 5 years
yeah.
ago.
It was like early 2019.
Yeah, 5 years
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
But we met over the pool at cocktails, you and Dan, your husband,
Yeah.
and we just clicked and we've been friends ever since. And that's the premise. And you're not even in California, you're in Idaho, right?
Mm-mm.
Which leads to my next question. For those that don't know you, where in the country are you located?
So we live in Idaho. We born and raised Idahoans. We graduated from the University of Idaho in 2003. Go Vandals. We very quickly realized that we did not want to do the corporate thing that we always thought we wanted to do. So we started buying houses in 2005, just around our neighborhood towns, became landlords. Our parents thought we were crazy because we were, 23, 25 years old,
Buying property.
just as much as they'd give us, as much money as they'd give us. And then in like 2006, 7, they started doing ninja loans, which were awesome. No job, no income. Yeah, here's $400,000. So we'd buy like 4 houses and then all on adjustable rate mortgages. And that we both worked W-2s and we are current and it worked out.
Let,
So then
let, let
we
me let me ask you something. Yeah, obviously you've been on a roll. You know,
we've
you've done nothing but succeed and grow since I've met you. And what you're talking about is as you got started. But before you got started,
yeah.
I want to talk about Brandy for a second. We
Oh,
always we all get started at a different time in a different place. We don't many people on the call right now, we don't always get started in the same way. Um, there's that time when we're getting into business. Some of us, it's in our teens or 20s or 30s, but at 16, we're driving, at 18, we're voting, at 21, we can go buy an alcoholic beverage,
it's
right?
a big deal.
Yay for that. Um, but from your teens into your 20s, was real estate on the horizon? Was it something that you were aware of? Was mom an agent? Was dad a contractor? Was it nothing you were aware of? And if not, what were you doing in your teens and into your 20s?
So I grew up on a farm. So I mean, I guess we owned a bunch of land, but it was farmland. Like so we owned about 2,000 acres in very rural Idaho, Oregon, which Adrian, no one's gonna know where that town is unless you're from there. But that's where we I grew up on a farm. I picked clods on a potato harvester. So at a very young age, I was like, this sucks. I'm going to college. So instead of working 18-hour days all summer long, the minute I was old enough, I got a regular job and saved up and I went to college. That's what I wanted to do. I knew
No.
that we were very I I read a Warren Buffett book when I was like 12 and it kind of blew my mind like where in the town I grew up in like if that was just not a possibility. Like you were just gonna, I was gonna marry Jared Bertolotto and we were gonna have 6 kids and a cow and it was gonna be fantastic. And I was like, I don't
So
think so.
what
This
did
is
you go
way
to college?
better.
What did you go to college for?
Um, business, marketing, and accounting. Um, yeah. So
So now, after college, did you do things related to your education, or did you do something else? You
we
know,
did we did. So I was a national sales manager of a radio group in here in at home here in Boise, Idaho. So I did that for oh my God, forever, for almost 20 years, maybe 15 years.
wow,
In the meantime, though, Dan and I were buying
real estate.
rentals. We were buying
Yeah.
rentals because that's what we thought you should do. But we did it in like the worst way you could possibly do it because we were kids. And so we're like, oh, let's both put our names on the loan and like not hold it in a land trust. And like we could have got sued. We're so lucky that we did not just get our asses handed to us. But anyway,
Yeah.
we did it super wrong, but it started us out in a good way. And then I worked my full time job up until late 2018. And that's when we joined Fortune Builders.
That's when we met. Yeah.
And then my job paid me a whole lot of money to not do my job anymore. And I was like, thank you very much. And by that time, we had already kind of done a lot of different things in real estate. And so we kind of knew that that's where it was going anyway. So yeah, I left my radio job making 6+ figures and went all in on real estate. Dan
Fantastic.
still works his W-2 because it makes financing a lot easier if you have a W-2 job. Plus, we might kill each other if we were together all the time. So,
Brandi, your topic today is systems and vertical integration. And when we started back 5 years ago as real
wow.
estate investment students, systems wasn't even a word that was told to us on our original program.
No,
You know, um,
it's
we've learned so much since then after that, and by going to multiple seminars. I know we've both gone to seminars, we both met other people, and I've engaged in other programs, such as Sub 2 with Pace Morby. Um, but really quick, I mean, for those that are on the call and that might be new, those that are watching on YouTube weeks or months from now, in relation to real estate, what are systems?
so many systems. Uh, checklists. They're checklists and repeatable processes, so you can continually do the same thing over and over and over and over and over. And so that's what we do. I mean, we do things. My husband, okay, let's rewind. So my husband is a logistics guy. That's what he's done for 20 years. So if you've ever eaten a French fry, uh, well, anywhere, he pretty much made sure it got to wherever it is you bought it. So whether it be the grocery store or
McDonald's.
McDonald's or Chick-fil-A or wherever, that's what he does. And it literally is just systems like first in, first out. This is how you process materials. This is how we do it. And when we first got started, even before we joined Fortune Builders, we'd walk in like, oh, wouldn't it be pretty to do this house in this way? And it was just, and then we realized really quickly, like, this is not the best way to do this. We both still had full-time jobs. Sometimes, we need to hire things out. And so it just got to a point where it's like we had to create repeatable processes that could be managed without physically doing the job ourselves. So we joined a program in 2018, and a lot of it was kind of funny because a lot of the things that we learned there we had already done. We just didn't know that there was a name for it. Like I was just like, I was like, let's do this crazy stuff. Turns out it's called wholesaling or double closing or like all this stuff. But as we got through there, they gave us, kind of a kickstart to that. And then as we grew, we just had to create some of our own systems because we got so big and we were finding out where the bottlenecks were. And a lot of times when you start building out systems that are scalable, to really scale, what you'll find out is that you're the bottleneck. That you're the one that's stopping your business from getting to where you want it to be, which is what was happening. And so we literally just created a ton of checklists. Like our scope of work is very detailed, very repeatable. It's on a spreadsheet. Like every line item is gone, every day is counted. We systemize and automate as much stuff as we possibly can, from scope of work to ordering to delivery of products, and we buy the same things over and over and over and over and over and over because then it becomes automatable. I can literally go, this is a 3-2, we're doing the whole thing. It's already built in our Home Depot app as queue items, and I can literally like, this is what we need, and we need it delivered to this address. And Home Depot delivers it. It's paid for. My GC already knows what's going on. He has a scope of work. We've already walked it. Done. White tile, black grout, done. And then,
So are you guys doing predominantly rehabs right now? Are you
well,
building
so
rehab?
that's where we started. And then we wholesale. So now we have a whole wholesaling team, and it's completely automated. I don't do anything when it comes to wholesales other than approve the earnest money to be released to our title company. And everything nationwide is ran through the same title company with our same rep. So whether we're closing or wholesaling on a single family, multifamily, commercial, mixed use, industrial, it doesn't matter, at anywhere in the country, from Washington, the state, to Washington, D.C., it all runs through the same place. We use the same title agency. She's our point of contact. Everyone knows her. She has all of our LLCs and documentation. And I don't know if you can see right here.
Hmm. The books?
Yeah. So those are just a few of our LLCs. So every time we close, she already has all that and she has everything. So I don't ever have to send her. It's literally like I just send approval, take it out of our escrow account, open it under this address. It's probably going to be an assignment. Done. Literally, somebody else handles it.
So systems then basically become, do you have a written procedure for each system, or what I'm getting
Every,
at from a business standpoint, systems are procedures?
every single act has a procedure that goes through it. So wholesaling, I remember in the first days of wholesaling, you know, I personally am like, oh, like pulling a list and calling these guys or writing them a letter. All of that is systematized and automated now. So on like the third of every month, we've created a bot that pulls the lists in each zip code that we are wholesaling. So it'll just pull that list. So anything new, depending on the criteria that we've already created and the zip code that we've provided, it'll pull that criteria. So it
Cool.
pulls that criteria, it uploads it into our CRM, it notifies my assistant that the new list is ready, and a mailer campaign is immediately started, and
Wow.
literally nobody did anything. So mailers go out on the we do 8 days. 8 days after that, he starts calling everybody, but it's not him. It's an auto dialer. It's literally just a voice recording that is him that sends it out. If someone picks up the phone, our answering service gets notified, and then they talk to them and fill out a seller lead sheet, which then gets uploaded into our system. Then my assistant follows up with them, and then it just goes through, and then whether they tell us to
Wow.
pound sand or whatever, and then a follow up, and then as follow up we say thank you, and then it goes back into the funnel and it starts all over again.
Wow.
But this is all done, so we're contacting thousands of leads a month, and between my acquisitions manager and my assistant, maybe 5 hours of actual like physical work. Otherwise, it's all ran by automation,
Wow.
bots, auto dialers, or
Now, do you guys use
drip
VAs at all?
campaigns.
Do you guys use VAs at all?
Yeah. So my assistant's a VA. He's a VA.
Okay.
He's in the Philippines, but I'm in love with him. And if Dan doesn't shape up, we're going to run away and get married.
I love you. So we talked about the systems. Um, what's a vertical integration? For again, those that might not know.
So I do love systems and I like to outsource because I myself host a ton of RIA groups and like women's meetups and real estate classes and this, that, and the other. And almost every single time you go around that room, it's like, why do you want to do real estate? Well, it's, freedom, lifestyle by design, time, all of these things. So we outsource a lot. We used to outsource almost everything. I mean, I was always an advocate like, hire a property manager, don't take care of it yourself, do this, do that, da, da, da. Like, there's tons of lenders. Like, here's a great insurance company. Well, we got really big really fast. And as much as I love checklists and contracts and lien releases and all of the things that we do to protect ourselves, when you outsource as much as we were, you still leave yourself really exposed. And over the last couple of years, we've we've found some ways we were really exposed. And so in that process, and we buy in a lot of different states, and in different parts of those states. So in Georgia, we had at one point four different property managers. So it's four different reporting systems. It's four different leases. And that's just in Georgia. And so we realized how kind of vulnerable we were to like just wording and interpretation. And you'll hear me say this all the time, is that property management is probably more important than your property. So you can have a C class building or an A class building. If you have crap property management, it's not good. So we went through a lot of turmoil through that. So our first step is we pulled all of our property management in-house. So we created a 100% virtual property management system.
Wow.
So everything is ran through a single portal. We ran our lease agreements through our Nevada lawyers that then basically compared it to California law. And we don't buy in California because it's not landlord friendly.
Yeah.
But basically, rule of thumb is if it works in California, it pretty much works everywhere. So we basically took a lease and we ran it through a bunch of our lawyers and fine tuned it and made it work. So there's one lease.
Yeah.
And we know what that lease says because
it's your lease.
We wrote it. So we know that there's an addendum depending on the style of property. There's addendums, and there's no question about what's inside of it because we wrote it. So it's all ran through a portal. Everyone makes their payments online. Everything goes through the portal. Work orders, payments, notifications, and then we have either a leasing agent which is usually a realtor because they're your best friends and they do a lot of stuff. So we either 1099 them or some of them just do it. Most of them 1099. Some of them just do it because we buy a lot of crap, and so they
let me ask you. So vertical integration is basically like having that one system that works in multiple areas?
Well, we're pulling everything inside. So instead of us just being Closing Time Home Buyers is our original company that was just we wholesaled and we rehabbed and we wholesaled and we rehabbed. It has now become our umbrella company, and under Closing Time Home Buyers, which still does wholesaling and rehabs, but it's become more of our like construction arm. So now we have property management, we have hospitality. So everything that runs our Airbnbs, short-term rentals, is now vertically integrated. We're looking at a roofing company. We're creating our own fund to create so we have capital so we can don't have to go external to raise capital, but we can also lend capital to other investors as well. We are doing a nonprofit, and we're also doing we're insurance
Wow.
because we own property in Florida and insurance in Florida is stupid. So I was like, oh, let's
Yeah.
just pull it all in house. So that's what I mean by vertical integration. So we are going to pull basically everything that we use inside of all of our
Got it. Got it.
companies, and we're pulling them all in so we can control the entire process
Cool.
from start to finish. So whether that be wholesaling to rehabbing to commercial properties. Now we still use outside lenders for traditional money and all of that stuff, but basically private money, hard money lenders, like all of those guys, we're pulling all of that in house.
Wow.
So
Hey,
we've been raising capital for the last 2 years. We have a board of directors now.
check you out. Hey, I got a question. I want to bring somebody on in here. Mario, you're on with Brandi. What's your question?
Randy, great talk so far. Question on it sounds like a multifamily question, but also as a wholesaler, a newbie wholesaler. Would we retain you? Are you able to set that up? Do you and your husband offer the ability to take what systems you recommend? I'm a visionary. Marcia is my integrator. I don't want to know about Podio. I'm not interested about Dealmaker and that. I mean, I'm interested in the list, but then I'm into investing with somebody who knows what they're doing and a group saves me time, which gives me money, gives me the ability to get on the phone. So are you offering a service where we can hire you? You set it up. It probably answers somebody, Serena, probably, or I forget who question. So do you offer that one? And two, from you're similar to me. What I do is I'll acquire a piece of multifamily. I own the property management. I own the title company. I own the commercial property. I own the landscaping company. I lend to all of them. I own 20% of each business because I bought each business and they generate leads for me. But at the same time, when instead of going to the local bank, they go to me and my team to borrow not at 19 or 26%, but it's 13% the trucks to do the landscaping. Then I lend my landscaper company to the guys who are my landlords next to me who don't have a landscaping, and I get a residual that way. Is that what you're envisioning doing?
So that's kind of, yeah. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
basically what we do. Um,
Okay. Okay.
we don't have it everywhere we are yet, but there's a huge shift in money right now
Mm-hmm.
because the boomers right now, they're retiring every single day, and a lot of them own businesses, and they're service industry businesses, which are plumbing, HVAC, electricians, roofers, and no one really wants to do that anymore. They all want to be TikTok famous. And I'm like, I don't even know how, like, I don't know. My kids send me TikTok and I watch it, and that's like the extent of how I know how to make it that work. So I'm like, ooh, but you want to talk about an HVAC company in Aiken, South Carolina? Hell yes, let's buy that crap. But mainly it's because they'll do like an owner carry for free and stay on for a year. So when I go into these places and I'm like you, buying this multifamily unit that is, and I mean, and that's primarily what we buy, and it's what we've always bought. It's typically what we still buy. We've gotten way more asset classes, but we buy B2C grade buildings with 100% value add, or value add properties. So as we grew, I was like, oh, I need to buy like 48 air conditioners, or heating. And so the guys, or the owners of those companies, they're like, great, but they're not cutting me some great deal. But then the dude down the street's like, well, I'll just sell you my business. Great. Now I get 48 HVACs at cost. I get to own a new cash flowing business. He's going to stay on for a year. And then I put my marketing team in charge of him. And turns out most of the time they don't even have a website. And I bought it for like 2% down. And really, it just saved me a bunch of money, because the money I bought the business with was the money that I already had earmarked for 48 air conditioning units for this rehab that we're going to do. But it's the exact same concept. We're just buying these pre-existing. We haven't bought lawn care businesses. Our property management company owns some lawn mowers, and then we hire people to work for them. But we've had one experience of buying a lawn care company. It turns out everybody that worked there was like the owner's cousin, and we ended up with like 4 push mowers and like a 0 turn. I was like, okay, well, at least we got a good deal. So, but yes, it's the exact same concept, and it's just, they're all different companies that then have contracts with whichever LLC they're doing business with. But as we all know in this business too, cash flow is king. Like when you're rehabbing, it's a lot of money out the door until you sell that house, and you do development. So that's even way more money out the door for a much longer time until, you finally cash a check maybe 2 years later. But as we were trying to solve kind of all these problems, less exposure, how do we continually create cash flow? How can we continue to get financing, traditional cheap financing for our rehabs that we decided we want to keep? Well, cash flow. So as you start doing this, you realize, and then just controlling the entire process. You're not subject then to somebody else's timeline or budget constraints, or somebody. You're in charge. You own it all. But that's not true. I control it all. I own nothing. But same concept. It is the exact same concept what you just said, Mario. That is exactly what we're doing.
Thank you. Yep. Good answer.
Thank you, Mario.
And we're going to become best friends, Mario, just so you know.
There you go. Yeah, you're both awesome people. So, Brandi, that's excellent. I mean, you've clearly explained systems and how vertical integration works, what vertical integration is. Just great gold nuggets. I've seen questions in the chat and comments in the chat.
We got big really fast, but to start this, you don't have to be big. You really don't. Like if you're a wholesaler, or if you are just loving rehab, or you're a lender, or whatever piece of this that you're in your day, as you're doing your day, just every single thing that you're doing every day that is the exact same, that's where you can put in a system or an automation that's going to save you time, energy, and effort. You don't have to be, Mario Big with $500 billion. Like I want to be Mario Big with $500 billion. I'm just saying. But you don't have to be that big to do this. You can start. We didn't start out like this. I just got sick of talking to contractors too. So I was like, we're building this out. These guys suck. Sorry if there's any contractors on the call. I really love your work. Craftsmen are amazing. I love it. But you can start at any step. And that's the key, is just starting. Because it's really easy to get bogged down in, I'm just doing something. But is what you're doing moving your business forward, or is it just busy work? Because if it's something that you can automate, or that's where you're going to create that system. And then you can either bring someone else in, or literally there are so many tools right now that are for free that will help you automate your business online for free with
Yeah.
AI and bots and everything
Amazing.
else.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So you don't have to be big to do it. It could be your first deal.
Mr. Mark Prestwood, you're on with Brandi. What's your question?
Yo, 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 thank you for the platform. Where do the newbies get stuck most of the time? Where do you see the common bottlenecks and things that they have to get over to get started?
Just do something. I mean, really, it is. It's just do something. Just pick something. And I know that there's a lot of different groups in here, but just pick something and do it. So, like, if you decide you want to be a wholesaler, or that's what you is, or you're gonna find your first subject to own your first rental, whatever that is, your thing, sit down and really write out what is that thing, because it's also incredibly easy to get distracted in this business. There's a lot of shiny object syndromes. Like,
Yeah.
not to be, there's a woman she's a wonderful lady. She has been coming to my meetup, one of the meetups that I host every Tuesday morning. It costs $10 to come to this, which is not expensive, but it does cost money. She has come for almost 4.5 years and she's never done a deal, but she was buying notes at one time, or rehabbing trailers, or Airbnb her backyard. First, sit down and really just write out what is your thing. And you don't have to live with that. It can change. But today, what is your thing? Write it out. And you're like, okay, my thing is that I want to buy 3 bedroom, 2 baths in, the Somerville neighborhood that are all under $100,000, and write that out and then go, okay. And then focus on that. And whether you have no money or some money for advertising, if you have no money, get in your car, drive that neighborhood. Or if you still have your full-time job, take a different route home. Maybe that's it and you have no time. Like, so you just drive a different route home from your job every day, so you can take pictures, and you have to act. You have to talk to people, and you have to make that first phone call. So once you figured out what your thing is, tell every single person you know, your mom, your dad, your kids, your dog, your lunch lady, the lady that bags your groceries, your mailman, your neighbor. Put a sign in your yard. I buy houses. I buy houses in Somerville, in this neighborhood, at this price point. Like, tell everyone, this is what I do. And then tell everybody on Facebook, and tell everybody on Twitter, and then, Instagram. Do a TikTok dance about how you want to buy. Like, literally, just don't be afraid and tell everybody. And then the next step is, you're gonna have to go knock on that door, say, hey, I'd like to buy your house, or pick up the phone and call them, say, hey, I want to buy your house. But that's really what it is. You just have to take those first steps. If you're scared, I mean, a lot of people are always like, well, I never know, like, if my numbers are right. Pick a fake house and just run comps on it. Just run comps, run comps, run comps, run comps, run comps. Then call your realtor friend. Realtors are going to be your best friends. Plus, they do so much work for you for free. They're free. They're free little minions that run around and do work for you every time. So, like, if you want to question a comp, you could throw a rock outside right now. I could hit 7 realtors right now outside. And I'd be like, hey, will you run comps for me? They'll run comps. Then you can compare those comps. And then, so know what you want to buy, know where you want to buy it, know what your price point is, and then just get really good at running comps, and then make that phone call, knock on that door. That's really all it is. And then pretty soon you're buying insurance companies. That's just what happens.
That's freaking priceless. That you know what? I think I got to get to work now. I got to do some comping and come up with some real comps this time that actually work. You know what I mean?
And when
Not
you're
these
new, like
pie in the
maybe
sky.
if
Yeah.
if rehabbing is your thing, like when we first started rehabbing, I would pick a house, run a comp on it, say this is what I think it is. I'd run my rehab estimator, and then literally I would spend just like an entire Saturday in a Home Depot. And everyone's like, why do you use Home Depot? Like, can't you can negotiate prices better with somebody else? Well, I negotiate pretty good prices with Home Depot still. But you know what I love about Home Depot is that the Home Depot in Nampa, Idaho sells the same crap as the Home Depot in Aiken, South Carolina, as in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, or in Muncie, Indiana, and it is all the same. And it's not might be the exact same price, but it's pretty darn close. So that's why I do it because it's easy and repeatable, and I don't ever have to do the scope of work again.
Mario, you are on with Brandi. What's your question?
Brandy, to add value to you as a newbie wholesaler, let's pretend I was. What could I do to bring value to increase you? And I think Dan is your husband, right? If I recall right.
Mhm.
And bring value to you. So I may not know the ropes of everything, but if I brought this particular asset and said, would you want to wholesale this? Can you teach me how to do wholesaling from the soup to nuts? I earn as I learn.
Yes, I would be more than happy to look at your contract or your wholesale, but if in return how a wholesaler can really bring value to me as their buyers list. So as we're building out zip codes and neighborhoods and everything else, like, so I always have like, oh, will you help us like underwrite this and underwrite that? I'm more than happy to help. I will help anybody, and I probably like Dan and JJ's even told me this before too. Brandy's like, you're giving a little too much away. It's a little too much. But I'm more than happy to help you in any way, shape, or form I can. But really, which is actually a win-win, is like as new wholesalers are building out their buyers lists in their zip codes and their towns, that's really where I do because I get deals all over the place from where we are because we're calling someone in Ontario, Oregon, but their grandpa just died, and outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, in some town, Hoosville, that I've never even heard of. But somebody in here lives there and has a buyer's list. I'm like, oh, great. Yeah, I can do that. And then I can give it to them. And then finder's fee, we split deals a lot of different ways. But that's really how we can help wholesalers. And then we teach them like, why is this a good deal? And kind of walk them through the process. They go walk the property, take pictures. I show them my process on like, hey, this is why we want to do this one. This is why we can offer this for it. This is the price. This is what we can wholesale it for. And then they are boots on the ground and have a list. So I can teach them then I have someone there. It's like, oh, you have a town in Hoosville? Got it. I got a guy. I'm calling Mario. I'm like, hey, we got this under contract. Send it out to your buyers list. We'll go 50-50 on it. Done.
Cool.
So we do those kind of partnerships. I mean, it's not even a partnership, it's a transaction, but it's still all the time because it helps them because it provides them with a fee. And then it helps us because we have access to a new buyers list. And I don't even want your buyers list. I'm just going to send you the contract. Like you fish it out. You can brand it yourselves. Let's do it.
Brandi, we're going to have to connect with you and allow you to network a little bit more in the group and make those opportunities available. Mario, did that answer your question?
Yes, perfect, because I come across foreclosures all over the country.
Yeah.
So both commercial and residential. So
I'll wholesale the residential ones. The commercial ones we should look at. I'm just saying.
Yeah, me too.
Commercial.
I just buy them. I buy them.
Okay, Mario. I know we're not best friends yet, but we're gonna get there.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you so much, Mario. Good to see you.
Yep.
So, Brandi, I got two more questions for you before we close out.
Yes.
If people want to follow up with you, they want to connect, they maybe are a new wholesaler, they want to reach out to you. What's the best way to get a hold of you? Is it your TikTok, your MySpace page?
So the number up on the screen is it's my work number. If you text it, I will get a message. You can text it with your information and I will get it to you, or you can send me an email and that will come to my email inbox and I will respond to you.
So my last question to you, you and Deanna have done remarkably well. Love your personality. You own any room you walk into. Um, real estate's not easy. And nowadays there's so many education programs that have people coming in to buy into a program as you and I did 5 years ago. And some people come in with no experience. Some come in with a great deal of experience, and they're told, hey, join our Facebook group and meet our community and network with others. And some come in knowing Facebook because they used it in junior high school, which is different than today. Some come in don't know it at all. But for the success of the real estate investor that's coming to the social media forum, what is the importance of networking to someone's business? And what's the importance of maybe joining a group like mine?
Well, your group is far and beyond amazing resource to not only experienced investors, but brand new investors. And it's a very safe space. A lot of times when you join other real estate groups or forums or whatever, it's really just an opportunity for someone to sell you something.
Yeah.
And inside of your group, you are diligent and making sure that people are here for the right reasons. And for the majority, you are going to find people that align with your goals and your ethics and your,
Yeah.
coming from a good place, a place of education, an abundance mindset that comes where it's safe and you can ask questions. You're not going to get hammered because you painted a door an ugly ass color
Mhm.
green, which is called Peacock, and it was awesome. And I also made $287,000. So thank you,
There you go.
Facebook. But anyway, it's so in that resource, it's imperative. And I on that same note, when you join other Facebook groups or go to like buy an education class, which I'm all about education. I think you should. I read books and go to seminars and classes all the time. But before you like start handing out, thousands of dollars to this person or that person or this person because they look really good on the internet, um, just remember all of those Instagram hacks where those people were like, oh, I was on a private airplane. And it was really just them sitting in front of their dryer window. Like, not, I'm just saying, do your due diligence before you just start handing over money
Yeah.
because someone can look really, really good on the internet and have never done a deal. I kind of look on the internet the way I look in real life. I'm a little chubby. I'm a little inappropriate. Sometimes I say really bad words, but I get shit done. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I love you. I really do. If you guys are watching on YouTube right now, please like Brandi's video. Uh, please use the comment section. Put your comments in for what your takeaways were, what you found valuable on the call, found interesting. Please feel free to give us feedback. That actually helps the YouTube channel. That helps us. That helps me. If you want to follow up with Brandi, again, we have her email is brandi@closingtimehomebuyers.com. And again, her phone number is 208-614-4214. You want to connect with me, join my networking group, go to my website, jjazizian.com, click the little pulsating register now button. Please register for the group. Look for more coming out on Flip Side Up with JJ. We've got more great speakers coming up for the rest of the year. This Saturday, we've got Liz Lopez. Liz is on the call today. Really loved having her on. Want to thank all of you guys that have been on the call today. Brandi, thank you for your time. Don't go away. Guys, don't go away. We're going to go to live breakout rooms. And again, Brandi, it's been a pleasure to have you on today. You dropped some serious gold nuggets. I know everybody loved it. It's like you've done this a million times before, I can tell. So, Brandi, I guess we'll see everybody out there through social media, right?
sounds good. Yes. And if you don't already follow JJ, follow him. He is a huge resource. He's amazing.
Everybody, thanks for joining us.